Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for you guys to be here. I really appreciate you tuning in. We are diving into our third part of our three-part series on time management mastery. So if you haven't already caught the two videos that preceded this video, I will have them linked down in the comments below. But we essentially have been diving into the 3 Ps of time management mastery. And in the first lesson, this is a 3-part mini course, we dove into prioritizing. So that first P is for prioritizing. The second video and lesson is on the second P, which is about planning. So it's like once you've taken all of your priorities and identified what's a priority, not a priority, and there's a whole method around that. So again, if you haven't caught those videos, just check in the description box below and I'll have those videos linked for you. You really need each piece to go through to be able to implement the third P, which we're talking about today, and that is produce. So it's really being able to produce, take action on your well laid out plan so you can achieve the results that you desire. So we're going to be diving into that in today's video. Today, we're going to be going beyond the drawing board and into the realm of real world action. So it's time to take your aspirations, your dreams, your plans to life and witness the growth that you've been working towards so you can achieve that success. So go ahead and join me and explore these actionable strategies and insights so we can create that well-laid plan and implement it and get results. So we can have something that we can actually measure and celebrate the milestones as you move forward. So let me go ahead and pull up the slides here. And the also couple of announcements. Well, let me just back up a little bit. For those of you that haven't met me yet, my name is Shannon Martell, and I am so excited to have you here. I really appreciate you tuning into this video. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the little subscribe button and then the like button, and that helps to push this video out to more course creators, coaches, consultants, and service providers just like you, as well as helps you to be able to be the first to get the notification when these videos go live every week. I am just growing this YouTube channel. I started it about a year ago, but it just now started really getting rolling with it and implementing it into my action plan to be able to empower and equip more coaches, course creators, and service providers like you. So I really appreciate you being here and subscribing to my channel and helping to get more content out like that to people that need the support as well. I'm also thrilled to go ahead and give you a couple of gifts. So if you haven't already grabbed the couple of gifts that I have for you below, they are linked. We have number one gift is my time management mastery action guide. And that is the guide that helps you implement this plan. So again, it's a 3-part mini course. This is part 3, and each step, there are actions to take to be able to create a plan that really works for you so you can get more done, earn more income, and get this done in less time. So go ahead and download that so you can implement this plan, as well as there is a December planner available to you. I know we're kind of like halfway through the month or a little over halfway through the month, but this will help you to at least get a feel of it. Even if you're only planning for like a week or two, once you start implementing the plan, you'll get an idea of what the workflow is and the strategy is to be able to help you achieve the results that you are really working towards. So go ahead. This is an excellent tool for helping you to be able to implement these strategies. So go ahead and download those. And then furthermore, I invite you to come over and join us on Facebook in my free community, the Course Creator Collective. It's a vibrant space where you can join like-minded individuals like yourself, and you can collaborate with one another. You can find paying clients in this group as well, and just really network with like-minded individuals. You can bring your homework. So if you have implemented what you're learning here today, go ahead and bring your homework over to the group and drop it there. And we'd be happy to give you feedback, share best practices, and so forth to help set you up for success going forward. So let me ask you a couple of questions as we're diving in and kind of recapping where we're at in this three-part series. Really understanding like why is it important? Why is time mastery management or time management mastery important to you as a coach, course creator, service provider? The one question I really invite you to explore for yourself is really asking yourself, like, at the end of the day or the end of the week or end of the month, however it be, like asking yourself what you actually accomplished. Do you find yourself wondering, like, gosh, what did I even get done today? Like, where did time go? I know I have been there, even with the most well laid out plans, they don't always go to plan. So I can definitely resonate with that feeling. And I just want you to know that if you're answering yes, you're not alone. Many other coaches, course creators, and service providers out there often, especially people that are self employed, often struggle with this feeling all of the time. And it can seem like an amazing feat to finish the day or the week or the month feeling like you weren't productive. It can also feel like we never have enough hours in the day. You have the time, but you feel like that time is just being taken up like non-essential tasks. Like you can feel like you're just spinning your wheels, like no matter how hard you push yourself, at the end of the day, you may not feel like you're getting any closer to your goals. Like if this is you, or if you've ever felt like this, go ahead and drop me some love or drop me in the comments below. I again want you to know it's okay. It's not your fault. It's okay. Like sometimes we just haven't really been learned. We haven't really learned how to implement time management mastery skills, but that's what we're here for to help you solve that problem today. Because, let's face it, like, we all have a limited amount of time here, and we really cannot afford to throw any more precious time away, precious minutes in your day. We just need to work smarter, right? We need to have a better process in place to manage the time that we already have. So in this three-part system, we've been diving into, again, the three Ps, which are number one is really prioritizing. So again, I invite you to go through and watch the videos if you haven't already, because you really need to have these foundational pieces put into place to execute on and produce to get the results that you desire on a well laid out plan. So in the first module in the first video of this three-part series, we dove into really prioritizing. So this looked at how do we, number one, like starting with the end in mind, starting with your goals, how then do we identify what projects we put in place, especially like as a coach or a course creator, what projects do we put in place to be able to achieve those goals? And then in those big overarching projects, then what tasks support those projects? So the example that we really dove into in those training lessons were, as a course creator, if you're looking to create a new course, right? So the ultimate goal is that you want to make an impact, you want to generate income, you want to help clients, right? So if that's your overarching arching goal and understanding why you even want to do that, right? Why perhaps you want to pay off some debt, you want to support your household, like support your finances, like really understanding the overarching goal. You want to make an impact in the world, you want to travel, you want to put your kids through college. Like money likes to have a reason, right? Or a purpose. So identifying why you want to achieve those goals really helps you have the energy and the commitment and the dedication to follow through with those goals. But then so you have that, then what's the project? So we dove into like the example again of course creation project. So if you're in a course creation project, what are the particular tasks that are included in that course creation project to be able to achieve the results of the goals of generating income, generating impact, gaining more clients, helping more people? So once you really identify out of that, and then you have, the pieces that support it, you have, traffic generation, social media, creating content, working with clients, the the product development itself, the delivery. You have all of these pieces in as running a business, and then you have your admin side as well. So then once you have that, really, how do you prioritize and understand what's the most important task for you on a given, looking at that again, like if you're looking at launching a course every quarter, what are your priorities for the quarter, for the month, for the week, for the day? So that goes into all of that. And then once we understand what those priorities are, the second P was to plan. So then how do we take all of those particular tasks and put them in a system that is manageable in regards to time? So we looked at really how to do a couple of things, from looking at and prioritizing what needs to be done when. So what are our goals? What are our deadlines? And then looking at how do we look at that in a time perspective, from utilizing different techniques, from theme days to time blocking to batch creating and completing tasks in batches. So you're not task switching. And then also utilizing the Pomodoro techniques to work in like sprints and cycles. As well as, my background is that I came from corporate, was in corporate over 20 years, and I've always been really good at producing and working really hard, but what I wasn't as good at was really managing my self-care and making sure that I was getting the adequate nutrition and exercise, and and really taking and implementing good self-care habits and practices to make sure that I wasn't just working all the time. That eventually led to burnout. So then I went on a journey of really figuring out how to recover my health and how to work smarter, not harder. And essentially that's where this plan, the system was born. So making sure that you have that. And then the third P, which we're diving in more today, is the producing. So this is where we're actually implementing that plan, producing, so you can get the results, so you can get more done and earn more income and do all of this in less time. So moving on to the next slide, what we're going to be kind of really understanding is in the course that I've brought you are really the best steps and practices to help you implement all of them effectively. So knowing that if you follow the 3 Ps of time management mastery every day, that you're going to experience a huge boost in your productivity, and you're going to finally get off that treadmill that goes nowhere and jump onto a clear path of achieving your goals. So as we go through, if you have any questions, I invite you to go ahead and drop them below here if you're tuning in from YouTube, and I will answer them for you. And if you want to go ahead and join us in the Course Creator Collective, we would absolutely be thrilled to have you over there. And that way you can get some more support as well. I also provide additional training and resources there for my community, but it's just a really great place that you can share your homework, you can collaborate with other people, you can attract more leads as well. If you are looking for your next client, you never know where you're going to find your next client or your business bestie. So we would love to have you over there. So diving into step 3, which is produce. So now that you've set yourself up for success, it's time to execute on your plans and produce results. So you have a calendar now. You've gone through, you've identified and prioritized your tasks. You've gone through and planned them in the time that you're going to allot to getting the work done. So now that you have these time blocks scheduled, it's important as well to make sure that you go through each task and take care of each task. And then we talked about like buffer time and using buffer time to catch up as you need it. One note I just wanted to further elaborate on with buffer time is that it should be used as a last resort. So make sure not to waste this time because you have it marked off on your calendar, because there's going to be occasions where you're going to really need it. And if you don't need it, you want to use this time efficiently and effectively and get more work done, or use it mindfully and intentionally to go ahead and recoup your energy. So for instance, if you have, planned in buffer time, maybe perhaps you said it was going to take an hour and a half to record a module, and you get that module or those lessons in that module done in an hour. Don't necessarily just use that extra half hour and blow that time doing nothing or doing, something that's meaningless unless you're intentional. I'm not saying you can't take a break. It's absolutely good to take a break, but you want to make sure that you leave that time, have that spare white space in your calendar for things that come up that aren't planned. One thing that had happened to us last week is my dog got sick, our dog Scarlet. And that was obviously not in my plan to be, taking time off to take her to the vet, and all the extra care that happened with that. But by having a really well laid out plan and buffer time built in, I was still able to achieve all of my goals and get the tasks done that I had planned for the week. And that was primarily due to having this plan in place and following the plan and knowing how to reprioritize what was most important and what were those essential things that needed to have to get completed to get the deliverables to my clients and so forth. So you want to make sure that you utilize that time wisely when you do have it. So as you go through each day, take care of your to-do list. Various things may trip you up or distract you from your priorities. So let's talk about some best practices that you can implement to help keep you on track. And we're going to go through each one of them individually, and then I'm going to give you a practical example of what that looks like in my day and as an online coach and course creator. So one thing I would say is really be mindful of the time, really watching the clock, knowing what time it is. It can be very easy, especially when you love what you're doing, to get wrapped up. And before you know, it's like, oh gosh, I planned an hour for that, but now 2 hours have gone by. So really want you to be mindful of the time, especially when you're working from home and you don't have anybody kind of directing you on time. It's really important for you to know what time it is and be mindful of that. And we'll get into some other ways that you can track that time here in just a minute. I want you to also ask, is this necessary? So really looking at your schedule, looking at the things that you're doing and asking yourself, is it a necessary task that you are doing? Making sure that the time that you're spending completing the tasks that you are doing, are they leading you to the result that you desire? Are they a necessary thing, or are they what I like to call fluff, fluff work? Are you spending more time on your website? Are you really spending extra time trying to make things look pretty versus just getting them done and out the door? And you know what I mean by that. So you want to make sure, asking yourself, do that test, is it necessary? And then I want you to see it through. So are you really seeing those tasks through, even if it feels uncomfortable or hard, especially as you're learning to do and you're implementing new different skills and really understanding how to get better at something? I want you to see the steps through. And the more you do it, the more you see it through and go all the way to the end, the easier things are going to get for you and the quicker you're going to get at doing particular tasks. So making sure that you're seeing your plan through. Truthfully, that's the only way to test this plan, is to create this plan, put it into action, and test it like a science experiment, right? To see what's working and what's not working. So I wouldn't go through all of these steps and spend this time not to even pull out the plan and look at it, because then it's kind of a waste of your time. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we're seeing it through. You also want to prevent distraction. So you're going to know how you work best, to know what you can tolerate and what you can't. I always say, to my son, he can work with my oldest son, the most distractions, kids running around, yelling and screaming, tons of distractions, and just be tuned in and not be distracted by all of that. Me, I'm very different. I can have maybe some background noise on or a show playing in the background, but I don't do well with a lot of distractions around me. So know what works for you. And then Also, don't be a perfectionist. So don't keep going back and refining and editing and spell checking over and over. Give it a once through, maybe a twice through, like if you're double checking an email, but don't keep going back and fixing and fixing. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'll be the first to raise my hand, but this is truthfully a big time waster. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't make a difference to your client if you're not getting the work done. So, and sorry, I saw two pictures on my screen over there. I'm like, why am I on there twice? But it's not. Anyway, squirrel. So don't be a perfectionist. Make use of the waiting time. So kind of, having that list of priorities and tasks as well helps you to be able to really take advantage of waiting time. So for instance, if you're waiting for a video to download or a video to upload, if you're uploading to YouTube and so forth, and you're waiting for that time, then use that time to go ahead and work on another task. I wouldn't say this is necessarily multitasking, but it's really taking advantage of the time that you have where you're idling. Maybe perhaps you are at a doctor's appointment and you're waiting to be seen at the doctor's appointment. That can be a great time to maybe catch up on some email or some tasks that don't take as much time and attention and focus for you to be able to do that. So that's a good way to do that. And then look for shortcuts. So kind of looking for some things that you can systematize or templatize to be able to work smarter and not harder. So let me give you a tangible example of what that looks like as a course creator. So, my day as an online coach or course creator, one of the main goals for a particular day could be creating a series of instructional videos for my new online course. But I also have to be able to manage client coaching sessions, do my social media updates, and various admin tasks throughout the day. So, a couple of best practices and how I would implement the watching the clock, is it necessary, and so forth, are one that when I plan out my schedule, I go through and I allocate specific time blocks for recording each video segment. So this helps me to ensure that the recording doesn't overrun, that I don't keep starting and stopping and starting and stopping multiple times. I'm getting better at that. I have to confess. There have been times in the past where I've probably wasted an hour restarting videos. It's not so easy to do that when you go live, but when you're recording videos, then that can be a particular obstacle to overcome. But what does help is when you are batch creating in your videos, you kind of get into a flow. So you stop the starting and stopping part over and over again, because now you've gotten into the flow and the rhythm, and you're getting more and more comfortable on camera as you go and as you're speaking. You can probably see in my videos like how rusty or nervous I am in the beginning, and then as I go through, I get more comfortable and get into the flow. So really watching the clock and making sure on those particular tasks where you're really not paying attention that you have some way of knowing what time it is. And then asking yourself if it's necessary. So running what you're doing through that necessary task. So before I start a task, I ask myself, is this task necessary to helping me achieve today's goal, or can it wait? That's a big question there, you guys. And if you're not asking yourself that question, I invite you to try it. It's very, very powerful. So, for example, I can decide to postpone replying to non-urgent emails until after I've completed my video series. This can also be like when you have a lot going on, particularly right now, we are in the time of holiday prep as well. So depending on when you're watching this video, so you're really asking yourself, is this urgent? Is this necessary? Does it need to be done today? Or can this be postponed and rescheduled to another time? Or can it be eliminated? And that's kind of going through that Eisenhower matrix and really understanding what's important, what's not important. Understanding what your definition of done is really important as well. Like what does done mean to you? For instance, for this particular video, done means that it's, recorded, edited, uploaded, and promoted out to my audience, and all of the deliverables are included with it. So know what the definition of done is for you, and then see it through. So that piece of it is, once I've started recording a video segment, I commit to finishing it before I move on to another task. So this helps me to maintain focus and efficiency. And again, as you continue to go through like your workflow of particular task or subsets of a project, you're going to get better at it. You're going to start to develop actually muscle memory, because you're going to intuitively know what the next best step is without having to, go back to your list and look at and do it again. Because after you do it repetitively over and over, you're going to start to become familiar with the process and just know what that next step is. So that's going to save you a lot of time. Then again, we've talked a little bit about preventing distractions. So turning off your phone. I let my family know that like right now I'm in recording session, so please don't interrupt me. If there's something, unless there's a fire or something really urgent, don't interrupt me. And then, hold that question or whatnot. Turn off notifications. When I'm working, I will put my phone in do not disturb mode, so I don't have that squirrel effect of being constantly interrupted by non-essential things until that task is complete. And then once that task is complete, then I can use some of that buffer time to be able to complete some of the other things. And then again, like not being a perfectionist. So while I aim for high quality videos, I don't get overly fixated on the small details that don't significantly impact the overall quality of the content. It's not about how pretty it looks, right? It is about how impactful and meaningful the content is that you're providing to your clients versus how pretty they are. So make sure not to be a perfectionist with it. Know the definition of done and get it done. And then make use again of the waiting time. So in the intervals between client sessions or while waiting for video files to upload, I use that time wisely. Maybe it's to jot down some ideas for upcoming social media posts, especially when I'm recording or when I'm working with clients. Different things will come up that I want to remember and jot down. So a great best practice for that is to have like a parking lot list where you could jot down some notes on that parking lot list of things that you want to be able to schedule the next time you go into a planning session. And then looking for shortcuts. So anything that you can templatize in your business, or, create, like even for like this YouTube videos, creating a template for what your description is going to be. So when you go to do your next update, maybe you just have to update a few things, add in some new links, things like that. But at least you have the template, or maybe it's an email template. Maybe it's a social media template. There's lots of different things that you can templatize in your business to be able to save your time. You have the branding in there. You have all of your links available. The outline and the structure is already done, so you don't have to think about it. You wouldn't believe how much time that saves you when you don't have to keep thinking and reinventing the process every time. You can really just be able to implement and edit that template for the next thing. So by keeping these practices in mind throughout the day, I stay focused on my main goal, which while efficiently managing my other responsibilities. And this approach ensures that by the end of the day, not only have I produced valuable content for my course, but I've also been able to attend my client coaching calls and manage other important tasks, not just as a business owner, but as a single mama as well. Because there's also the tasks that go along with raising children and running a household that you want to be mindful of and make sure that you're prioritizing as well. And having this plan in place for yourself helps you to be able to do all of that with ease. So we talked a little bit about watching the clock and really keeping an eye on the time so you're not running over your time allotments. The best way to do that is to use a timer. You can use like an ordinary kitchen timer, or this is the cube timer. I picked this up on Amazon. You can go ahead and grab that. I also, a lot of times I will use the Focus Keeper app on my phone. And the thing I really like about that too is that one, it's always with me, where the cube timer may not always be with me, but it also helps remind me to get up and take that active break. So working in those Pomodoro sprints where it's 25 minutes where you're working and then you take a 5-minute break, that's a good time to get up, stretch your legs, go get a drink of water, use the restroom, maybe do a quick little task around the house, something like that. But it really helps to, keep you moving, and then, helping you be mindful of the time. And wow, there goes another 25-minute block. So it really helps you to just be aware of what's going on and also get you up and moving so you're not sitting at your desk the whole time. You can also set alarms like on your phone, or I've even used Alexa to set alarms. So if I'm allotting like 4 hours for my workday or 6 hours, usually I'm generally between 4 and 6 work hours a day, then I have the alarm set, so I know it's time to move on to the next task, or maybe it's time to go ahead and take your break or so forth, but it helps keep you moving and on schedule. A little bit more about the necessary test. So again, before starting each task, asking yourself whether it's truly necessary. Is it something that's going to help you move to your goal? Asking yourself if this is something you can delegate to someone else, or it's something you can automate. So what I do in my business is I create SOPs. So it's standard operating procedures and checklist. And this is, for example, creating a video for YouTube or creating a course module, of having this checklist. Again, like taking off that creative burden for you have to think about it every time. And then eventually you'll have it memorized, right? And you'll be able to go through the flow naturally and intuitively with ease. But when you first get started, it's one, you want to have it there. Two, it will also help you to be able to train your team on, when you start to hire in your business, that you have this standard operating procedure already outlined for the particular task and projects in your business, so you can train on it. But it also is that checklist, to make sure you've just dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, and get those particular tasks done in a flow that flows seamlessly and intuitively to the next task. So those are really, really good to have in your business. And again, like, you don't even have to think about it. It's kind of like having that recipe. Like when you go to create a particular favorite recipe, you don't have to think about it. You just pull out the recipe and the steps are right there. It's the same thing for your business. If you want some help with that, let me know. I have lots of SOPs for my business that I'm happy to share with you as well. But you want to break your tasks down into bite-sized tasks. So one, it helps you to identify like how long it truly takes you to get something done, but it also helps you to know, for instance, if there's something like an example of, maybe it is, I want to optimize my ads, like my Facebook ads. What does that mean to optimize? So if you're not clear about a particular task and what that means, that overarching word, and it has confusion in your mind, you're more likely to procrastinate on that particular task. So you want to break it down to where it's achievable and understandable to you, so you know how to do it. So breaking that task down, further step by step. If it's, again, creating a video lesson, would be researching that topic, and then going through the steps to create your presentation and record your presentation, download it, edit it, all of those steps to be able to get it to producing, and as in regards to that example. So making sure that you break those tasks down into bite-sized steps, so like each step is taking you ultimately to achieving the overarching goal. And then take it and time block it, blocking out that particular time. Even the better you get, like if you have theme days, so maybe on Monday is your marketing Monday, Tuesday could be product development and clients, Wednesday, or probably product development, and then I'll just give you mine. Mine is marketing Monday. Tuesday is client and community. Thursday is client and community. Wednesday, product development. And then on Friday, it is more like your admin, systems, education, finances. So kind of knowing you've got these big buckets, and then you can then time block in those particular buckets how long you're going to be spending on each task. That really, really helps to increase your effectiveness and your efficiency. And then estimate again the time it takes for each task. A great way, especially when you're getting started in something, you may not know how long it's going to take. And again, it takes longer, like when you first started doing things, but you can audit your time. So maybe for over like a 72-hour period, you really audit and record, like track, write down everything that you do and how long it took you to do it. And then do that consecutively for a couple of days and then kind of give yourself an average. That is a really good way to estimate how long it essentially takes to complete a particular task. And that way you have it in mind too when you're kind of off track. But you want to really, try to eliminate tasks before you start them. Like if you haven't already planned on doing something, and you're like, oh, like, well, I don't know what, have some interest or like a brainy idea. I know I am guilty of this too. Like I all of a sudden have an idea and I'm like, wait, why am I working on this? It's not on my plan. Go back to your plan. If you complete everything on your plan, that you have already done the work and the homework to knowing that you've prioritized it and it's the right step to be taking to achieve your ultimate goal, then you want to table those other things on your parking lot list. And then when you do have your buffer time, then you can work on those other tasks and projects that are kind of like those shiny objects that may be fun, but may not be leading you to your overall goals. So stick to the plan. So kind of looking at like, what does that look like on a, granular level? For an example, if I'm creating an online course and I'm managing my coaching business, like how do I move through? So looking at like, is this necessary? So I look at each task, look at, maybe for creating an online course or an online program for the content, I'm going to look at like maybe number one, I need to research new marketing strategies. And then I ask myself, like, does this directly contribute to my immediate goal of course creation or client management? Yes or no? Deciding on it is whether it's important or urgent. I then can decide whether I need to do it right now or is something else I can schedule for a later date. Then looking at like delegation or automation. So I identify repetitive tasks like posting on social media. I decide to use a scheduling tool to automate this or hiring a freelance graphic designer to be able to help create some graphics. You can use Canva to create graphics, but this helps you to, or buy PLR products, so like private label right products where some of these graphics and things are already created for you. Maybe you just need to change your branding on them. That is a great time saver as well. And kind of looking at too, like what's the value of your time, right? So like, are you spending your time on tasks that could be outsourced for, a minimal amount of money per hour versus the time that you charge for your time for an hour? So you really want to make sure that your time is spent on the most income producing activities in your business, and those other things are outsourced or they're templatized or automated and so forth, so you can save more time. Then creating, again, those SOPs. So as a course creator, I've developed standard operating procedures and checklists for everything in my business, from research to recording. So this helps me to stay organized. It helps me to ensure that I don't miss crucial steps and being able to achieve my goals. So that is really, really important. Breaking them down, we've kind of talked about that, like how to break down a course module into smaller steps where, it's not just creating a course module, because that can sound overwhelming as well, but it's really outlining the module, writing the script, creating the slides, recording the slides, editing the slide or the videos and so forth until you get all the way to delivery to the client. So break those down for you. And then look at like time blocking and batching. So, we work in cycles. So looking at your energy, and we talked about those in the prior videos as well, but really looking at your energy and knowing like when you work best. So, I'm more of a morning person, and that's when I like to do a lot of my creative work. Maybe it's product development or creating your content. So setting aside a couple of hours, that's my one focus. It's the only thing I need to be focused on is creating that content. And then I like to batch it. So, even reverse engineering, once I've identified the content that I need to create, which comes from my course, right? My course, my program, what's the word I'm looking for? Is orchestrated or reverse engineered. My content's reverse engineered from that. So that is a driver of it. So, because everything needs to lead back to your course, right? And the transformation that you provide. So once I identify the content that needs to be created for that week, then I can identify what graphics, visuals, things like that I want to put with it. And then I can go create those and batch create the content and then batch schedule the content. So everything's like in buckets, because once again, you get like going, it's like cleaning the house. Once you start cleaning, like everything just starts to flow. You want to do that in your business. So looking at that and then realizing, like, are there particular, tasks that you prefer to do more in the afternoon when maybe you have less energy, or kind of like, do you have one day that's all allocated to creating your YouTube videos or recording your modules? Just kind of identifying what works best for you, and know that this is an experiment and you're going to test your plan. So if something doesn't quite go to plan, let's record why, and let's understand why, so we can go ahead and adapt our plan going forward, so we can make some changes. And then again, like, eliminate an unnecessary task. So midday, like if I receive an invitation to hop on a training or do some networking, I consider what the relevance is towards my current goals. Realizing if it doesn't align with what I'm working on, I can decide to focus on my prioritized task instead of like jumping ship and going to do something that may sound more fun. It might even sound more rewarding at the time, but doesn't necessarily lead to the results that you're looking for. So stick, go through that decision making process, and then make sure that you're making the best decision for you and for your business. So we talked about seeing it through. So if you've decided to work on a task for an hour, stick to that hour. Don't start and stop in the middle and do something else. You've considered your priorities thoroughly when you made your schedule. So it's important to stick to it and see it through. And then if you feel like a task is wasting time, or it doesn't need to, that task block to be allocated, make the necessary adjustments to your schedule for the next time. So like sticking to it mindfully, like when I plan out a task, like say creating again a new course module, I allocate that 1 hour of time to that slot. So during this hour, I focus entirely to that particular task, and I don't keep task switching. I don't even open social media. I can have multiple tabs open at the same time, but those are more distracting. And honestly, like your mind has to still process it all. So when you don't have them all open, you're less likely to go, oh, let me just go check my ads, or, oh, let me go see, see if anybody's engaging in my Facebook group. Like those are all distractions, and you want to be mindful of what's getting your attention. And if that is a problem for you, go ahead and close them down. And then emotional and energetic check-in. So before starting a particular task, I'll do a quick emotional and energetic check-in to see, like, am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling like, maybe I don't have the necessary energy for a particular task? And if I'm not feeling up to it, then I allow myself a short break. Maybe you need to like take a quick walk or do some deep breath work, stretching, like turn on Shake It Out by Taylor Swift to help you reset your mental state. But, the biggest thing is honoring your word and honoring your commitment to yourself. So even if a task feels like it's challenging, I remind myself that I scheduled this time. I had already carefully considered all of my priorities and decided this was a priority. It needs to be done. I trust the past me who's made all of these decisions and see it through. And honestly, like, I've gotten a headache or something really bad and I can't see it through, it's more honoring to, give myself that break and rest and honor my body. But if you can get through it and go ahead and complete the task, go ahead and do that. And then adjust for the future scheduling. So if during the task you find it's taking too much energy, it's not as crucial as you initially thought, I make myself a mental note. And it's important to me to recognize that if a task is not in alignment with my current energy levels, how can I better schedule that for the next time? So making sure that you're looking at that, and that post-task care. So after completing the hour, whether the task is finished or not, giving yourself a moment for that self-care. So again, like taking that energetic break, getting some more water, taking a walk, patting myself on the back for getting through it. Sometimes, honestly, like if I'm tired, I can feel like if I could just commit to one task block, one 25-minute interval, that will really be effective. And generally, once I have committed to at least one task block and I get through that, then I can continue going on, because then I get into a flow. So doing that for yourself is really helpful. And then for the next one, we're preventing distractions. Again, like really arranging your work environment so there are no distractions. Turning your phone off, turning social media off, play some music in the background, if that helps you or energizes and motivates you. Sometimes, especially if I'm working on something that could be like maybe I'm scheduling social media content, I'll turn the TV on in the background, especially if it's like reruns of Grey's Anatomy. Where's my Grey's Anatomy fans? Let me know. Because it doesn't really distract me in the way that I'm not getting all the work done, but it helps me to feel like I'm not working, and can make the mundane task in your business feel a little bit more enjoyable. So remember, allow yourself to, play around with it and experiment and see what works for you, and just to really be able to enjoy it. Letting others know, again, like you're busy and you don't want to be distracted is important. So kind of, I remember even in banking, we used to have like a sign I'd put on the door, like, do not disturb mode, right? So go into that do not disturb mode with your family too, especially working from home. So they know like when they can interrupt you and when they can't, because again, it takes, I think it's like every distraction is like 7 minutes to get refocused. So if you can imagine, if you have a lot of distractions, and that a lot of time is spent refocusing and getting back in your flow. So allow yourself that. We've talked again, diving deeper into not being a perfectionist, because knowing that perfectionism can hold you back. So it's like, try to turn that voice off in the back of your head, and remember that you can always go back to your work later and tweak it and edit it. As course creators, we can spend a lot of time creating in what I call the cave. That's not helping you, and it's not making you any money, and certainly if you're not getting your courses out there, it's not making the impact that you want to make. So making that first initial like sloppy copy, that minimum viable product, let's just get it created and get it out the door. Because truthfully, until you're working with clients, you don't know how, even with the course laid out in your mind, the best way you think it should work, until you really start working with students and seeing where the gaps are and where the learning opportunities are. You may not know the exact way to structure something until you start working with students to see if they're really getting the results that your transformation is offering them. So let's just get it out there, right? And then we can always go back and perfect it with the second, iteration and the third iteration, and continuing to refine our processes and make an even better product. But let's not let perfectionism get in our way. The next one, what do we have? Making use again of the waiting time, and kind of feel like we've talked about this a lot already, but making sure, like, if you do have some additional time where you're like waiting for a call to start, or you're waiting for something to download to be able to take the next step, making sure that you are using that time wisely and proactively, to maybe there's something else that you can complete in that downtime to be able to keep making progress on a project. Again, maybe that's something simple like, check in social media. Maybe it's responding to emails. Maybe, you're creating a quick graphic or something. Some things you'll get quicker at in your business, so it won't take you very long to do things, and that would be helpful for you to utilize that downtime just to get some of those other admin things done. Looking for those shortcuts, so making use of templates and automation. So whenever possible, using templates for repetitive tasks like email responses. What I mean by that, like if you have a particular questions and answers that come up a lot. I'm sorry, questions that come up a lot about your courses, things like that. Having some things templatized that you already have some of those responses for those frequently asked questions, that can be a game changer in your business. Having automation set up in place. So, onboarding processes, onboarding for your community, from your free Facebook group, if you have a Facebook group, to um, your online courses and coaching programs and so forth. Having these things templatized and automated will really, really save you a lot of time. So you're not starting from scratch every single time you onboard a new client or new member to your community. Leveraging, again, like private label right content. So again, whether you're buying template packages for your graphics and design, your workbooks, your cheat sheets, any of these other tools in your business, you don't need to start from scratch. There's so many valuable tools you can get, like on Etsy, to using a lot of the tools even on Canva that are pre-created for you, that will really help save you a lot of time in using some stuff that some of that foundational work's already been done for you. And then you just have to brand it and make it your own. Batch creation, we've talked about that, like really batch creating videos and your tangible deliverables. So if it's, you have, for a particular module, you've got, workbooks and checklists and things like that you need to implement. Having those workbook, again, like that template already pre-created for you, and then just tweak it for the particular module and so forth. That not only helps you to have consistency in your branding, but it helps save you time in the implementation of creating those deliverables as well. And then, we've talked about batch scheduling again for seamless operations. So, maybe it's putting all your emails in a, like particular bucket, or your content in a bucket. So you're having theme days or batch buckets where you're working on this particular task during that. And then you can also use different software tools to like help you with your scheduling. So whether it's Buffer or Hootsuite or a CRM system, to help you to stay consistent with your communication and your daily efforts, will go a long way as well. So kind of look at that for your business, do a little audit and see like, where could you use some support? Where do you find like you're doing repetitive tasks and things like that, that seems like you're, if you had a process for something in place, if you had some standard operating procedures and checklists in place, it would help you to not have to, put the brain power behind it as far as like thinking through those steps, because you already have that checklist in place. And again, if you want to, come into the Course Creator Collective, or comment below on this video for particular, like anything from marketing to content creation to batching, some of those tasks, that let me know, and I will see if I have something I can provide to you. So again, any questions you have as we're wrapping up here, I would love to hear from you. Do you have any questions about anything that we've covered throughout, not just today, but this 3-part series? Part 1, again, was prioritizing. Part 2 was the planning. And this is part 3 with the producing. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them below, or feel free to join us in the Course Creator Collective. We would love to have you there. I'd love to see your homework, share tips, connect with others. There's many other passionate coaches and course creators in that community that would love to hear from you. And we would love to have your input and engagement there to truly make a difference. So don't hesitate on dropping any of that, asking us to look at your homework. I'd love to give you some feedback and just let you know, what's worked for me as a successful coach and course creator, and how we can learn from you too. We'd love to hear what your best practices are as well. So your action steps are to go ahead and download a timer app, or find a kitchen timer that you can use to help you stay on track. Step two is to reflect on your new system and asking yourself those questions that are mapped out in the action guide. Again, if you need to go ahead and grab that, it will be linked here below this video. And then after your first week, I want you to reflect on what you've done. So, what tasks, what did you get completed? What was your goals? Like, what was your plan in mind to begin with? How much of your plan, and whether it's a percentage of tasks that you got completed, whether it was no tasks, like really auditing yourself and understanding what happened, where your time went, what your intention was. It's really good. Looking at like what did you get done, and remembering to celebrate that is so important, because every step that you take is a step closer to realizing your goals and your dreams and your aspirations of being a successful online coach and course creator. And then what did you get done? What did you not get done that you were supposed to do? And then understanding what those time thieves were. So what distracted you? What helped you to work faster? We want to do more of that, right? Which task needed more time than you originally blocked? And then looking at like, why did it take more time? Was it because we had a learning curve? Or maybe something took a little longer to research, really understanding why it took longer than anticipated. Maybe you just underestimated to begin with, but it's really important to understand that, so we know where to course correct and how to continue to improve going forward. And then is there anything taking longer than it's worth? So maybe, making those pretty slide decks or graphics, or, constantly tweaking your website isn't generating more leads and traffic, right? So really making sure that the things that you are spending your time on really are making an impact. Kind of looking at like, if there are tasks that could have been done better or done at different times of the day that better suited you, what are those tasks? What are those time increments that would work better? Like maybe, again, you're more energized in the morning than the afternoon. Looking at, what shortcuts you could use. Chat GPT is really, really good to put some of those, to kind of look at your plan as well, and to do like a diagnostic on that. It can help you understand what's working, what's not working, but also give you some valuable tips and suggestions as well for some things that you could implement or try to continue to improve your plan. And then what changes do you need to make? Really, really important. Again, this is an experiment. It's your experiment. So you just want to keep testing and trying to where you really get a well-oiled system and routine and rituals in place that continue to support you and your business with ease. So wrapping up here, just knowing like with a systematic approach, you're going to be able to get everything done that you need to get done to be a successful coach or course creator with time to spare. There's no more feeling that time is slipping away and that you're stuck at the same level, getting nowhere in business, because you're going to, if you implement these 3 Ps, the prioritize, the plan, produce, you're going to have a well laid out plan, a well laid out system that, again, this becomes habit, right? It's all about developing new habits and systems in your business to help you get more done, earn more income, and save more time. So as we wrap this up, I want to commend you for taking the time, the significant step towards transforming your approach to time management. This is really huge. So give yourself the attaboy or the attagirl for going through this. Remembering the journey to mastering time efficiency is ongoing, and the strategies that we've discussed today are just the beginning. So don't stop here. Don't just try it once and throw it out the window. Any strategy, little secret, any strategy to be able to really get good at it is going to take time and practice and adjustment. It's just like baseball comes to mind when I said that. Like, I'm not a baseball player, but like, you become a pro in baseball or any game at life or whatever by practice. So you want to make sure that you keep practicing, you keep adjusting, right? Your swing, your stance, and keep getting better. I truly believe that the insights and tools that you've learned and gained from this training, you're going to be better equipped and prepared to prioritize, plan, and produce more efficiency, leading to greater productivity and success as your role as an online coach and course creator. So if this is something you want, we're concluding this and we're bringing the time management mastery mini course to a close. I want you to remember it's just the beginning of this incredible journey. If you're ready to dive deeper and elevate your skills, I warmly invite you to join us in Call to Serve. This is my signature course launch system. It's a comprehensive program that helps you to not only learn but implement and create an online course. It takes everything that your hard-earned knowledge and expertise and turns it into a profitable and sustainable online course or coaching program. Why I choose Call to Serve? It's affordable. Number one, I wanted to make this program as accessible as possible for you as an online course creator and coach. For $97 a month of an investment for 12 months, you get to unlock the door to your future. You get comprehensive guidance from crafting compelling course content to helping you launch it and market it effectively and sell out your programs and services. You get the personalized support where you have me looking at all of your content, looking at every step along the way that you are working on and implementing to help you course create to be able to get you to you're achieving your goals quicker and faster with not having like this guessing game going on. Not sure if your message is resonating, if you've got ideal client clarity, all of the things that go along with it. You also get a community of innovators, other coaches and course creators that are on the same journey as you, that can help support you and lift you up and collaborate with you along the way as you're going forward. So your offer awaits. And as a thank you for joining this mini course, I'm also gifting you my ultimate course creation planner, absolutely free. This is a jam-packed planner that walks you through every step that you want to implement along the way from turning that concept to clients in your course creation journey. So that will be linked below as well for you to go ahead and grab. So don't miss your opportunity. We would love to have you join us in Call to Serve and really help you to embark on that journey of turning that expertise into a lucrative, not just online course, but a lucrative business that can last the test of time. So if that is you, if you want to learn more about joining us over there, go ahead and send me a DM or click on any of the links below. We would love to have you inside the course as well. So thank you so much for joining. And as we conclude, one more small favor, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe bell and the like on this video, please. I encourage you to do that. That really helps me to get the word out to other people just like you that need to learn the mastery of time management so you can implement all of the things and have more time to create more courses and coaching programs and make the impact that you truly desire with ease, right? And so you also have the time to do all of the fun things that you want to do in life as well. So thank you so much for joining us. And it was a pleasure seeing you all. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.